Alright, we've been solving quadratic equations. Now let's learn how to graph them. We'll call them functions in this case. And the graph of every quadratic function is called a parabola. It's a U-shape, and it either is curving upward like a cup or it's upside down like a cup turned over. And we want to have our equations in that standard form that we used for the quadratic formula. F of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. All the terms on one side of the equation. And you can tell a couple of things about a quadratic equation before you begin graphing it by the value of a in the equation. Now remember that a is the number in front of the x squared term, the number multiplied by the x squared term. So if that number is positive, you're going to have a parabola that opens upward like a cup. And if that value is negative, you're going to have a parabola that opens downward like the golden arches. Alright, and we'll talk about that as we graph each equation coming up. Now the first thing you do when you're graphing a quadratic function is you find the vertex. You find that point that's either the highest, if it's upside down like the golden arches, the vertex will be that highest point on the curve. Or if it's opening up like a cup, it's the lowest point on the curve. It's where we turn from going downward to going upward, or we turn from going upward to going downward, that point. And the formula for that is the x value at that point will be x equals the opposite of b divided by 2a. And then when we put the answer to that x value back into the function, we can find the y value, so we get a coordinate pair. So I'm going to suggest you grab another index card, because this is going to be really handy to have at your fingertips. So vertex of a quadratic function. Vertex of a quadratic function. I'm just going to draw one like this to remind myself what they look like and where the vertex would be on that one. Vertex. And how about one that's curving upward? And the vertex would be here. Okay, so I'm going to get my index card ready. Now I'm going to put my formula x equals the opposite of b over 2a, and y equals, put x into function and calculate. And that'll give me a coordinate pair that I will graph. Okay, so take a second to get your index card ready. We'll have it at our fingertips and be able to use it as we work on our first problem. Alright, if you need to turn off the video, do so, because I'm next going to show you how to use that formula to find a vertex of a function. Alright, so I'm going to give you a function. Let me get a separate sheet of paper. So let's go to a separate sheet. Okay, let's say we have this function, f of x equals, let's go 3x squared minus 2x plus 7. Alright, we want to graph this. So our first step, as we're going to find out when we make an entire graph, will be to just find the vertex. Okay, and that's all we're going to do in the rest of this video, just find the vertex. So I need to make my list, but the list only needs to have a and b in it now. A equals and b equals, because the formula only involves a and b. So I go to my function, which is in standard form, just the way I want it, ax squared plus bx plus c, and a is 3, the coefficient of the x squared term, and b is negative 2. Okay, so now I'm going to use my formula. X equals the opposite of b over 2a. So the opposite of b will be positive 2. Positive 2, because here it's negative and I want the opposite. Over 2 times a, so 2 parentheses 3, which is 2 over 6, which is 1/3. Okay? Now the next thing I need to do is find my y value. Now y will be what I get when I put 1/3, when I find f of 1/3, when I put 1/3 into the function. So I go grab my function, 3, take out all the x's and put pockets in their place. Take out all the x's and put pockets in their place. What are we putting in the pocket? What we found out x is. So a 1/3 here and a 1/3 here. And then you can just pick up your calculator and calculate this. I'm going to try it without. Let's see, 1/3 squared is 1/9. So I'm going to have 3 times 1/9 minus 2 times a third is 2/3 plus 7. Oh, this is actually going to be pretty easy. 3 times 1/9 is 3/9, which is 1/3. Subtract 2/3 plus 7. Again, you can use your calculator, it's a lot faster. 1/3 minus 2/3 is negative 1/3 plus 7, which is going to equal 6 2/3. Alright, and if you used your calculator, you probably got 6.66667. Either answer is fine. But this one's nicer because now I have my x value, it's 1/3, and I have my y value, 6 2/3. So if I was going to graph this parabola, it would have a vertex at 1/3, 6 2/3. That would be the point. By the way, this one would be turning upward because it has a positive a value. So this one will be something like this on a graph, and the vertex, this 1/3, 6 2/3, would be down at the bottom. So we'll actually see how to graph an entire graph in the next video. But again, this was just using the vertex formula to find that turning point.